Hi everyone, and welcome to Billy Fitzgerald Golf. And here are my top 5 tips to increasing your distance. Number 1, make sure your grip is correct so you have solid impact and can compress the golf ball. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is how your grip is on the golf club. So again, we want it to go right in your fingers, and then your hand wraps on top. And then my right hand will slide right on the side. So our hands are going to be working this way. The reason is because when the weight of the club comes down into the ball, it's going to pull on my left arm, and these joints are going to line up this way, okay? So if my grip is weak and I come down and this club pulls on my arm, the face is going to be open, which is going to be a big distance factor. So if I get into the fingers and get my hands over and my hand over, and again, the weight of the club pulls on my arm, it's going to square the face, and now my right arm can get on the back of the shaft. So grip is really going to combine with impact. One of the things that I see most people lacking is that because their grip typically is not strong enough in their left hand, their right arm can't get on the back of the shaft because it's so busy trying to square the face. And so one of the big distance factors that goes along with grip, we look right at impact, is at how this right arm lines up with the shaft. I've got to be able to compress the ball. That's how I get what I'm doing into the face of the club, into the ball. So if we get here, if I get my hands on the club right, and I swing back and get right into the ball, so again, the club face is square, and this right arm can get right on the back of the shaft. That's what compression looks like. I've got to be able to push this arm to compress the ball, and this has got to be able to line up. Again, if my hand is too weak and it comes in a little open, what has to happen? Again, if my hand's too weak and it comes in open, this arm has to get high to try to square the face. You're going to lose a lot of power like that. So one of the best things you can do to feel what the grip is like, because if I just put your hand, for most of you, on the club how we want it and get you in a strong grip, all you're going to think of is how strong this grip is. Let's look at it from a functioning part. So if I get my impact bag here, right, and I take and I just go ahead and hold on to the stick, right? So my hand, if I'm going to hit this solid, see, that's a solid hit when I swing back and forth. Okay, so you can see here, all I'm doing is back, hit, back, hit. If my hand was a little weaker, it wouldn't be as a solid of a hit, and the face was going to be open. So my hands and arms get out of alignment when I go to strike the ball, which is going to be a big cause to lose distance. So make sure that you get your hands on it right, in the fingers, over. Right hand goes down the side. So now when my hands go back and forth, I can feel like I can get my right arm right on the back of the ball to have a little bit more compression and get that club face a little bit more square. Okay, tip number 2. Now that we've got your hands on the golf club correctly, we can square the face at impact, and we've got a little bit of compression behind the golf ball. We need to make sure that we've got some speed in this club. Okay, so we've got to have, this club needs to be able to hinge, unhinge, and rehinge. So the golf club can go faster than my body. Without these levers, okay, so with my hands, and yes, it's going to feel to some very handsy, that if you haven't worked with levers or you're trying to keep your wrists and your arms tight, when I swing back and forth and I don't have any, again, hinging or levers, see, the club can only go as fast as my body. Well, all of a sudden, if I start to lever back and forth, now I can develop some speed in the swing. So again, we need to use these levers, to feel the face of the club. There's a lot of speed in your hands, wrists, and arms. That's what touches the club. That's what's going to make it go its fastest. That's probably 70% of your speed is right here. Okay, there are other things that add to that, but this is a big portion of it, is how I can make my hands work through the face of the club and make this face of the club go a lot faster than my body. So we'll do the L to L. So again, as you hinge up, lever up, I feel there's a L right here. It hits the ball. I'll come back over here, and there's another L over here. So when we swing, hinge, unhinge, rehinge. Okay, so now we'll hit one. So as you swing back, you're going to feel like you hinge, unhinge, rehinge. So we get some speed going in the face. So again, number 2, get your levers working so we've got some speed working in the face of the club. Okay, tip number 3. We've already kind of hinted to it beforehand, but we've got to make sure that it's throughout the swing is the square club face. So I see too many people with the face wide open at the top of the swing. Now that might be good in the bunker, but if you're trying to get any kind of distance out of this ball, it's just going to be a glancing blow and it's going to slide off the face. So let's look at what square is. So when you swing back, the face of the club is going to be lined up with my sternum, or it's going to be lined up with my spine angle. Okay, it's 90 degrees to the swing arc. We want to make sure that we hit that on the way up and on the way down. Okay, so for most people, we can hit the one on the way back pretty easily, especially if your grip is correct. But what should your wrist conditions be at the top of the swing so you know what it feels like to have a square face? So again, if we get your grip on there correctly and your hands work this way, it's just as simple as loading the face. So if I load the face, my right hand gets cupped in it and my left hand is fairly flat. Okay, so you can see where that golf club is now. That is square. Now when I swing up, I need to maintain those wrist angles or wrist conditions. So when I swing up and I go up to the top of the swing, my hand, I feel a cup in my right wrist and I feel this hand is fairly flat. So the face of the club is matching my left arm. If the face is open, the toe of the club is down. So how does that toe of the club get down? Even with the correct grip, what happens is we twist the face open as you swing. Right? You twist the face open. So now when you swing down, the face is not only wide open here, but then you hit the ball and it's wide open. So you have to make sure that you're loading this wrist properly. So the wrist gets loaded here, and at the top of the swing, you still feel it's loaded. Coming down, you still feel it's loaded, and now it can release into the ball. If you're not feeling cup in your trail wrist, you're losing, again, a lot of distance. So if we make a practice swing, and we swing back, the club's loaded here, back here is loaded, down here is loaded, you can see where that face is, and now into the ball. So now when we swing, what I'd have you do is go to the top of your swing and make sure your wrist conditions are correct and hit one. So again, load your wrist here, go back and feel how your right hand is got cup in it, and then bring it back all the way down, bring that loaded right wrist right into the ball. Okay, so load the face here, back up, and you can feel your hand come into the ball, and it's a very distinct sound, it's a very distinct feel if you've never hit it with a square face. So I see that all the time. The face gets wide open. Again, it's great in the bunker because we want to use the bounce of the club, but it's terrible for your long game. So make sure that you're squaring the face. Again, at the halfway point here, make sure it's up top that it's square on the way down, but mainly I would mainly focus on where it is at the top of the swing. So again, here, feel that cup in your right wrist, feel this is flat, and try to put that right into the ball. Okay, tip number 4 for distance. Our optimal angle of approach into this ball, because of we're sitting on this tilted circle here, is that the golf club needs to come down from the inside. Okay, then it hits the ball and then it starts left. So again, we're on this tilted circle. So we need the club face coming down on this path. Again, the face is square to the path from what we just talked about, and hit it slightly from the inside and then it releasing left. So how do we get that inside path? You need to get your body out of the way, or make sure that you're turned enough. Not only will it make the angle of the club correct, if it's coming in from the inside, that's how we compress the ball, as we talked about earlier. But again, if I'm not turned enough, the club's got to go out this way, and I cut across it, and it takes all of the steam off the golf ball. I've got to hit it slightly from the inside. So we have to make sure that you're turned enough behind the golf ball to make room for your arms. So again, if I got my club over my shoulders, I want to feel like this front shoulder gets all the way over to my back foot. Okay, so again, this front shoulder's got to get all the way over to my trail foot. So I've got all this room to swing down from the inside. So if I get here, my front shoulder goes all the way over to my back foot. So I've got room for my arms to swing from the inside. Now the 4-step drill will help us do this and feel this. So if we hinge up, turn, stretch. So now my arms have enough room to swing down from the inside. So let's try to hit one like that. So all I'm trying to do is get into a position where my body gets out of the way so my arms have a chance to come down from the correct path. So we get ready to go, and we're going to hinge, turn all the way back here, and hit your ball. Now the next time you'll tee up another golf ball, and I want you to feel 1 4-step just to get the feeling. So we're going to hinge, turn, stretch. Okay, that's where I got to go. Now I'm going to set up to the ball, and I'm going to try to get all the way back there now. So make sure you're turned behind the golf ball enough. You've got to make room so we have the desired path into the ball. And basically what's happening is you're getting your body out of the way so your arms can swing freely down into the ball, getting that club face on the right path and square to that path. Okay, step number 5, our final step, is we're going to start to use the ground in our favor. So we've been hearing about these ground forces, and what is this all about? Well, we definitely use the ground in a way that enhances the speed of the golf club. So what I can tell you is that what I typically see when people use the ground and they're trying to hit it far, they're actually going in the wrong direction. They're going in the opposite direction. They're trying to follow the club, which isn't going to give it any speed. If you want some speed and some wind-up and some torque, you actually have to go in the opposite direction of this club. So when I swing back, I'm actually pushing away from this club, right, which is going to help my turn. It's going to help my shoulder get all the way over here. But what it's going to do is load this right hip. Okay, so that's going to keep me centered. So I'm going to push away from the club, and then on the way down, I'm going to push away from the club as well. So once I hit the ground here, I hit the brakes and I push away, and that actually is going to accelerate my golf club. So when you hear of ground forces working to accelerate the club, this is what they mean. I'm not moving with the club, I'm moving away from the club, and that is keeping me centered, building torque, and as I come through impact and I'm pushing away, it helps speed up the club. So the more this is basically the gas pedal, this left leg. So the more I use this left leg, the faster the club will go. So it's actually a great way to dictate yardages and how fast this club is going. So we'll start with some little ones. So again, I'm going to push away. So as I push away from this club and I recenter and I start to push away, it starts to make the golf club go a little bit faster. So the first one, I'm not going to hit as hard. You'll see I won't push as hard with this leg. So again, get ready to go. And I'll just hit one about 50%. Okay, so there was a little push away there. Now if I want to make the club go a little bit faster, as I swing back and land, I'm going to push away from this club a little bit harder, make the club go a little faster now. So use the ground the correct way. You're not moving with the club. You're pushing away from the club, and as you work through the ball, you're starting to time this leg up with the face of this club. The harder I push, the faster this will go. So hopefully one of these tips will help you with getting more distance. I would probably say that most of us could maybe use 1 or 2 of them. I would start by checking your grip, checking the face, see if we're hinging, look at how much turn you have, and then we can start to use these ground forces. And I would say how I laid them out, that's probably the order that I would go in. So hopefully one of these tips is useful to you, and we can start getting you a little bit more distance out. Hi everyone, like and subscribe to my channel, Billy Fitzgerald Golf, for all tips on golf. If you'd like a live lesson or want to send me a message, visit me at billyfitzgeraldgolf.com.